We come from a long line of cobblers, and for the last 10 years, Vivobarefoot has been on a quest to make the perfect shoe, perfect for feet. On the 10-year anniversary of when we became a standalone brand, to come to East Africa, I think is a super inspiration for us to go on and help try and inspire as many people back to natural movement, back to natural lifestyles, and ultimately back to just putting nature at the top of the hierarchy.
For hundreds of thousands of years, we've been standing, walking, running, kind of in tune with the natural world, in sync with the seasons, benefiting from the soil and the bacteria and the food we eat, the salt and the minerals in the water we bathe in and drink, and it all starts with our feet, right?
We came to the Ngorongoro Conservation Area in northern Tanzania on a pilgrimage to visit a treasure trove of ancient footprints, found recently by a Maasai villager called Congo Sakai, near a volcano known as the Mountain of God. Here, the Great Rift Valley cuts through the landscape. At its heart is the steep-sided ravine of Oldoinyo Gorge. This is one of the most important paleoanthropological sites in the world. Hominid remains and stone tools have been uncovered here, dating back 2 million years. We'd set up our first camp on the rim of the caldera Lake Empekai. Our plan was to walk along our earliest ancestors' trails from the crater highlands down to the shores of Lake Natron, where the footprints are. After breakfast on day 2, we discussed natural bare footwear with the group.
Yeah, what an honour it is to be standing here today with you all on the beautiful indigenous lands of the Maasai in Camp 1, Day 2. Really excited to be on our kind of our journey or pilgrimage, if you like. Feet are literally and figuratively what have brought us all here today. They're amazing bits of kit, honed from millions of years of evolution. Vivo's whole thing is to unleash that natural potential, or really to be in service and to mimic the barefoot condition.
We'd bought everyone a pair of ESC boots. The Ecological Survival Collection are the pinnacle products for exploring the world's biomes. Our team included the eminent geologist, Dr. Cynthia Liutkus-Pierce, who led the research into the Engare Sero footprints at Lake Natron. Also with us was our guide Ben, and Edward Nditeru and Loki Lokitu, two of the leading anti-poaching rangers from Lewa Wildlife Conservancy in Kenya. As the day drew to a close, we hiked down the steep crater slopes for a closer look. Like all pilgrims, we talked while we walked, and we also gave each other space to reflect and walk in silence.
Walking down into the Empekai crater for the first time was absolutely magical. It's just the most beautiful scenery, first of all, and then to see the flamingos taking flight as we went down to the lake shore, absolutely stunning.
As night fell, we chatted around the campfire about what lay in store on the days ahead. We're going to go and see the footprints in 2.5 days.
Yeah.
What was it like for you the first time you saw them?
I literally got out of the car and actually cried. It's the most human connection feeling that you can have. It's spectacular, and I hope you all have the same experience.
The Ngorongoro crater highlands are largely overlooked by visitors in a hurry to reach the neighbouring Serengeti National Park, but are every bit as beautiful. Rising to elevations of over 7,500 feet, it's often cold and misty up here. As the mist cleared, we began our 12-mile trek to the next camp. This is one of the most important wildlife conservation areas on Earth, and now populated by Maasai, who have won the right to settle here in pastoral peace. While we walked, I caught up with expert tracker Edward. Tracking is all about reading footprints, a language of feet he was fluent in.
As the head of ant poaching in Lewa Wildlife Conservancy, my work is to make sure that the wildlife in Lewa and outside the community is safe, and also the people who live around us. For you to be a good ant poaching team, you must be a very good tracker. Providing security to people and the wildlife is all about tracking, because every day when we wake up, we go out in the field, we are looking for any unusual sightings, be it human being or wildlife. So tracking is everything to our work.
Cynthia, or Cindy as we now knew her, explained how her background as a geologist led her to the footprint site. She told us how her specialist studies of sediments provide a clue as to how our ancient ancestors once lived here.
So this area is very special. This is what a lot of folks call the cradle of humankind. There's a lot of evidence of our hominid ancestors, both in terms of fossil evidence, so actual bones, but also evidence of fossilized human behavior. So for example, things like footprints. And just beyond this volcano right here, a little bit over the ridge towards Lake Natron, is a beautiful expanse of over 450 early Homo sapiens footprints.
You've got to tell us a little bit about this magnificent thing in front of us.
Isn't it beautiful? This is the world's only active carbonatite volcano. This is Oldoinyo Lengai, which means the mountain of God in Maasai. So this certainly was here 20,000 years ago. In fact, the footprints are pressed into some reworked ash from this volcano. So yeah, this landscape looked very similar to this 20,000 years ago.
We followed the Maasai cattle trails as we headed to our second camp, in the shadow of the volcano and under a canopy of acacia trees. We woke up to the dawn chorus in the acacia forest. We were now only one day away from the shores of Lake Natron, our journey's end.
Okay, what mainly is it all trail like this, or does it open up to
It's open,
the river?
yeah. We're now under the shade of the acacia trees,
Okay.
but after a while, we're going to be exposed, it'll be open like a desert.
Okay, so we'll enjoy the shade.
Do the shade right now.
Leaving the shady acacia forest behind us, we followed the contours of the rift on our descent to Lake Natron. Soft volcanic ash from Lengai's most recent eruption in 2007 heralded our arrival to the floor of the Rift Valley. It's noticeably hotter here, regularly reaching temperatures of over 45 degrees Celsius. This is a rugged but beautiful area. The Engare Sero River cascades off the escarpment and offers a cool refuge from the extreme heat. The lake is surrounded by freshwater pools bursting with life. Natron is also the exclusive breeding ground for the 2 million lesser flamingos that populate the Rift Valley's abundance of soda lakes. Those hunter-gatherers that left behind their prints here 20,000 years ago would also have been dazzled by these firebirds. Our final camp consisted of a series of semi-permanent tents that had been built on the edge of one of the chalky streams that feed into Lake Natron. It's a short walk to the Engare Sero footprint site.
But we've also found animal trackways out here too, zebra, buffalo.
All of our modern foot sizes are covered from children to large males in the 450 Engare Sero footprints. And to track them, and to perfectly nestle one's feet into one of them, is to travel through time, a sudden whisking back to our common ancestors. The uncanny experience involves a feeling of co-presence, the prehistoric and the present matching up in such a way that it is unclear who walks in whose tracks. It's this combination of intimacy and remoteness that gives these tracks their unsettling power. They are among the earliest texts, from a period of history devoid of recorded narrative. Following them, we are reaching one of the earliest stories, told not in print, but in footprint.
It's an amazing journey to go from those highlands down into this drier valley where we actually end up at this amazing cultural heritage site where we see the footsteps literally of our ancestors coming to life here, trying to figure out what they were doing 20,000 years ago. Look at these toes. Big, perfect impressions. You think so? Yeah?
He's walking.
Yeah. And some are small, like.
Yeah. Women?
Yeah, you think?
Yes.
And then this one's bigger.
Yeah,
A little bit bigger.
that's a male.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also running, you think?
Yeah, he is running. The most exciting thing is that they are pointing one place.
Yes.
Just going to one direction, coming from one direction. So that's communicate. Maybe there is a house on this side
Yes.
or on this side. Wow,
Uh-huh.
this is my brother.
Yeah.
Same size.
We looked up to see Congo Sakai walking towards us. We had sent a message to his village to say we would be visiting the footsteps that day, but we couldn't know for sure whether he would come.
This is the man who found all of these footprints. Hello, karibu sana.
Asante.
This is Congo Ole Sakai.
Habari Congo.
Salama kabisa.
Mzuri sana. Naitwa Edward.
Habari Kongo. Salama kabisa.
Telling us about the origins of the footprints, we understand how proud he is of his discovery and how connected he is to the land where they were found. Cindy explained how the footprints had formed in ash-rich mud that washed down from the volcano, drying almost immediately and effectively turning these early human footprints into fossils.
This is a great place to actually reconnect with nature and with the environment. I mean, this is literally, you know, our great-great-great-grandparents just doing their normal daily interactions with the natural world, right? So they're out here, they're looking for water, they're foraging for food, they're interacting with their family members, and we can actually tease those stories out from these footprints.
In my life, this is the only place that I have seen where our ancestors began. You know, this is a message to all people all over the world, especially here in Africa, where people can come and learn where we all began.
We all come from Africa. Our feet have been wandering along the Great Rift Valley for over 2 million years. We are ultimately one people with 2 feet standing on one earth. And it's never felt more appropriate to reflect on the T.S. Eliot quote we've been using at Vivo for over 10 years. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time.